Logical operators. So we've seen a lot of different logical operators so far. And, or, not, the comparison operators. And you may be thinking, okay, I got them down to a science. I understand how they work. And I'm filtering data out of my database successfully. I've done the exercises, it's going well. But how do they actually operate? Like, what's happening behind the scenes? And how can I chain them to make more complex statements? Well, we're going to give you fundamentally a deeper understanding of all of that. But first, let's summarize what we've seen so far and define it. So far, we've seen and, or, and not. And we've also seen some of the comparison operators. But the and, or, and not keywords are vital to what we want to do here, to filtering as a whole. Like I said before, filtering is like layering like a cake. You need to know what you want to know, and then you can choose the right operators in conjunction with each other to chain a filter or make a more complex filter. And so if we were to go into definitions, when we look at and, if both the Boolean expressions are true, Boolean being true or false, if both of those are true, then the test will return results. So what we're saying here is, if the expression we put with an and on both sides are true, you will get results back. This and this need to be true in order for me to get results. You see it here in this simple select statement. Select first name and last name from users, where first name is equal to Mo and last name is equal to Beanie. So if either of these statements are untrue, you will not get a result. And then if we looked at that from a visual layer, well, what we're saying here is that both Mo and Beanie need to be true in order for us to get a single result set. And then we went into the or, which said if any of the Boolean expression is true, then we will return results. So this or this needs to be true, right? It's not exclusive. And again, when we looked at that in an example, when we select first name and last name from users, where the first name is Mo or the first name is Andre means we're going to get two results back here. If your first name is Mo or your first name is Andre, we're going to see you in that result set. And looking at that again from a high level means, well, it's either Mo or it's Andre. And both of them will create unique result sets that will be merged at the end. Now, I like to create these visualizations more for an illustration of the mental model. A database will do optimizations on how it will filter and how it will merge the responses of an or, an and, a not, and using these in combination together. But it's important to have that high-level mental model of, well, it's this or it's this. And so creating that visualization just helps you kind of map out what you want to do and what you're trying to achieve to do. This is not exactly how a database would process the outcome, but thinking about it in this way helps you build that complex structure of a filter. And then we looked at the not. And what the not said was, if any Boolean expression is not true, we will return results. So it was that way of saying, I only want things that are not related to this. An easy way to filter down in an opposite way. So if we said here, select first name, last name from users where not first name is Mo. Weird way of phrasing it, of course, when you read it that way. But we're saying here, where your first name isn't Mo. So we're filtering Mo out of the result set completely. And that is powerful. And again, if we visualize that, well, we're saying not Mo, well then take him out of the filters and give me a result set where anyone with the first name Mo is not present. Okay, so we have our foundation of filtering here. And we know how this filter works, how this filtering mechanism works. And we now know 3 keywords we can use to create very, very powerful, complex queries. But I hear you asking yourself, Mo, how does this get executed? And what exactly is happening? And I have the answer for you. In a database, there is something called the order of operations. And what the order of operations are, in what order is everything happening? So we've seen simple select statements. We've seen select from where. So we know how to filter now. But in what order is this being executed? Well, what I can tell you is that we first select from the table that we are going to do our filter on. Then we apply our filter. So we apply our where. And we filter down everything that we selected from that table. And then we subsequently, after the fact, narrow down what exactly it is we want to pluck from there. What are we selecting? Are we only selecting the first and last name? Are we selecting the income and the state? What exactly is the outcome? So again, high-level visualizations help create that mental model. So we select all the data from the table and we filter it down with our where clause. And then we get into our select statement where we say, okay, this is the eventual result set I want. This is what I want to visualize. And that's what we call the order of operations. So this is how it's happening behind the scenes for you. And of course, a database is going to do optimization on optimization to make sure that this result set gets filtered as fast as possible. But for you to know in what order what is happening, that allows you to first of all know what is happening when and how. And when you start writing queries, you will already know, well, this isn't going to work because this gets fired after this, or this gets fired after this, or before this. I hear you saying, well, Mo, there's only 3 things happening here, from, where, and select. You're right. But as we go along our SQL journey, more and more steps will come into the order of operations. For now, we have 3 things because we're only doing filters. But as we go along, more things will come into play. And now I hear you saying, I get it. We select the data and then we filter it. Sure. And then we narrow it down. But what exactly is happening in this where? Like, how do I determine if an and is going to happen before an or, if an or is going to happen before an and? And I alluded to this in a prior exercise where I showed you a short form syntax of something. So let's look at that. Let's look at operator precedence.